Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I got a cool email this morning from a gentleman who says, Steve, this looks like it might be of interest to you as it pertains to consumer protection, and I'm pretty sure I'll be the only one sending you anything like this. Thanks to the Federal Trade Commission, I just received a check for $91.29 from a settlement with Lasik Plus for deceptive marketing and wasted time going to a consultation only to be quoted a significantly higher than advertised price. Back in July of 2018, I went to a consultation with Lasik Plus at the recommendation of a friend who had her eyes done for around $350 per eye. They were advertising Lasik for $300 or less per eye. However, I knew beforehand there was no way I'd qualify for the $300 advertised price with the corrective lenses I require. But the advertising suggested they could do it, so I went in. At the consultation, the quote I was given was dramatically higher than expected, about $2,500 per eye. So instead of $600, it would have been $5,000. As a result of this much higher than expected pricing, I opted not to get the procedure done and basically forgot about it until I got an email about this lawsuit. Thank you. Now, here's the funny part. He said, I suspect I'll be the only one sending you anything about this, except that someone else sent me a similar email yesterday, and they included a photograph of the check they had received for $91.29. So the Federal Trade Commission heard complaints about this place, Lasik Plus, and decided to go after them because of their pricing issues, shall we say. And I went and pulled the press release they just put out, and it says FTC sends payments to compensate people for time wasted at Lasik consultations. The Federal Trade Commission is sending out 12,077 payments, totaling more than $1.1 million, to people who requested compensation for their time spent at Lasik consultations. The FTC charged Lasik Plus and a medical center with using deceptive advertising. These companies advertise LASIK surgery for less than $300 per eye, but the FTC says most people didn't qualify for that price. As a result, many people wasted their time at LASIK consultations only to learn that the surgery would cost much more than they expected. Now, some people are going to say, but Steve, is that actually a business practice? Why would you do that? Oh, because if someone comes in and wastes all day getting the consultation, and they're told, oh, we can do it. It's going to cost a little more because of this other thing. Some people are going to go, okay, I've already invested all the time. I'll do it. So Lasik Plus and the medical center paid money to settle the damages. The Federal Trade Commission is now using that money to send payments to people who filed a valid claim before the deadline. So apparently, if you didn't file a valid claim, you're probably not going to get anything. But it says you will get the payment type that you selected during the claims process. If you get a check, please cash it within 90 days. If you get a check like this, run to the bank as fast as you can. Okay, burn rubber. Get there and cash that check. If you get a PayPal payment, please accept it within 30 days. You can find answers to common questions about FTC refund payments on their frequently asked questions page. And if you have any other questions, you can always call the refund administrator at the Federal Trade Commission. But this is interesting because if you look at what they talk about being deceptive or unfair trade practices in the consumer field setting, the bait and switch or the deceptive advertising is one of the oldest and most common things out there. And I'm sure you've noticed this if you watch the ads on television where they say, hey, come on down, we can do this for you at this price. They then put up a big block of text, okay, where the screen is this big, the block of text is this big, but it's all in like micro point, which even if you pause the screen, you can't read. But if you were to read it, it's going to say things like, not available for everybody, not available in any state east of the Rockies, not available in states west of the Rockies, not available in the Rockies. And you realize that all of their exceptions swallow any possibility that you had of being able to use this, whatever it is they're advertising. And so the question becomes, in those cases, was the disclaimer or the information conspicuous? Because if they tell you in big, bold letters on screen, $300, now here goes, not really $300. As you can imagine, that would serve to be deceptive. Okay, that would be deceptive. And so this stuff often gets litigated. And one of the most, to me, it's interesting. It might not be to any of you, but there is case law where courts argue over what is conspicuous. And one field where it's been litigated quite a bit is in documents that are presented to you when you're entering into a contract. So you're signing a contract and somebody says, we will sell you this for this. And you go, oh, that looks like a great deal. And you sign it. You don't notice that there's other print down here that they give it to you here and you take it away down here. And I've actually seen it before where they had everything that was important on the document to them in black ink on a pink background. And the disclaimers were in red on a pink background. And the question then becomes, is that conspicuous? And so they actually argue what levels of conspicuousness rise to the correct level. That is the same type font as what's given to you up here, is that conspicuous? What if it's a smaller font? What if it's a smaller font on a non-contrasting background, like red versus pink? And they talk about those kinds of things, and there are actually cases out there, especially the Uniform Commercial Code, where they discuss things like, font size and so on. And you're like, wait, what? I went to law school for this? But here the situation is the advertisements appeared to say you can come in and get your eyes done for $300 an eye. Lasik, $300 an eye. And it turns out the vast majority of people didn't qualify for that. And the Federal Trade Commission is saying, yeah, and the people who ran the advertisements knew that. And as a result, they had to cough up about $1.1 million. And this is one of those rare situations. This isn't a class action in the traditional sense. Traditional class actions where somebody like this goes and finds a lawyer and says, hey, they got me. I think they got a whole bunch of other people too. And they file an action, and the attorneys handle that. But here is the Federal Trade Commission, which, of course, is a department in Washington, D.C., and it's run by the government. And the Federal Trade Commission oversees all kinds of interstate commerce. And so they got involved in this one. And this is a great example where they actually got substantial compensation. So, I don't know if $91.29 would be enough for me to throw away half my day and be ticked off at the end of it. Because I've had that happen before where somebody said, hey, come on in and we'll do this for you. And you go in and you waste all your time, and before you know it, you're like, I just wasted half my day for this? So $91. But then again, it's better than nothing. And it's certainly better than a sharp stick in the eye, which, by the way, LASIK probably won't fix. And if it would, it's going to cost you more than $300. So it's a great case. Thank you for sending the email. I'm not going to mention the guy's name because he didn't say that I could do that, but I'm sure he won't mind that I read the email. But like I said, he suspected he'd be the only one sending me this. He was the second person. But I got two of these, and so at least two of the members of my viewing audience got checks for $91.29 as a result of the Lasik Plus settlement. And if you signed up, you'll get one too. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Without geometry, life is pointless.